Hello, it's April from April's Home, and today I'm here with a book haul. These are some of my summer reading selections that I've picked up. I'm mostly going to be doing a low buy on books for the rest of summer while I make my way through a lot of the books that I have in my to-be-read pile. There are quite a few books that I would love to get through this summer, but I also did want to add a few. So these are some of the books that I've collected over the last month or so of books that I would like to read this summer, and just some books that I'd like to add to my library. And then also, just as an update, in my last couple of book hauls, I've mentioned that I've been rearranging my bookcases, and I have definitely been doing that. We've been doing a ton of rearranging around here. Now that my son has gotten married and moved out, there's a little bit more space in the house, and we have sort of transformed and repositioned a lot of the books in this house, and I'm very, very close to being able to do a bookcase tour. I have quite a few bookcases full of books, and I would love to share that with you. So hopefully I will be able to get that filmed in the next month here. But for now, these are the books that I have recently picked out. This first one here is by John Steinbeck. This is Tortilla Flat. I have never read this, and I just recently even heard about this book when I was researching some of John Steinbeck's books that I wanted to read. After earlier this year, I read Of Mice and Men. I was so impressed by that book. I really loved it. So I'm eager to get back into another John Steinbeck book. I would love to read all of his books, but this is the one that I chose next. It just seemed like one I would really enjoy. So I'm going to check out this one next for the summer months here. So this one just sounded really interesting. It says, adopting the structure and themes of the Arthurian legends, Steinbeck created a Camelot on a shabby hillside above the town of Monterey, California, and peopled it with a colorful band of knights. At the center of the tale is Danny, whose house, like Arthur's castle, becomes a gathering place for men looking for adventure, camaraderie, and a sense of belonging. Men who fiercely resist the corrupting tide of honest toil and civil rectitude. So it just sounds like an interesting tale. I really love the idea that it takes place in Monterey, California. And I just love the way that John Steinbeck really has such a descriptive way of writing. It just puts you right in the environment. And so this is just one I'm really eager to read. I hope that this is just as enjoyable as Of Mice and Men. So that's one of the books I'd love to read this summer. I'm still shooting for my goal of 52 books this year, but I'm definitely behind. We have had an incredibly busy spring. We're doing a lot of spring cleaning, a lot of rearranging and projects in both the garden and the house. And on top of that, it has definitely been wedding and graduation season around here. Every single weekend we are attending graduations and weddings and different parties for those things. So we have been incredibly busy around here. I'm hoping that that settles down here in mid-June, and I can get back to some of my reading and get back out in the garden a little bit more. So I'm definitely behind on reading, and I'm eager to catch up. These two books are both by, I think it's Alice Dalglish or something along those lines. I have seen these, The Courage of Sarah Noble and The Bears on Hemlock Mountain. These just look like really interesting books. I'm a big fan of Little House on the Prairie, and they seem sort of like they might be in a similar vein. These both have Newbery Awards. So I'm really excited to check both of these out. Just small children's books. I do love reading different children's books, and these two I will definitely want to read. And then speaking of gardening projects, I got a few of these books here. This one is about growing the best blueberries. I've been growing a lot of blueberries in my garden lately. I would love to make sure that they stay healthy and productive. And so I thought that I would pick up this little guide here. These are the Story Country Wisdom Bulletins, and they are often filled with a lot of really good advice. So I got the one about blueberries, and then I also thought that I would try out food drying perhaps. Not 100% sure that I will pick up a dehydrator, but it's something that I'm interested in as a way of preserving some of the extra food that I grow out in the garden. So I thought that I would pick up this about food drying techniques, and this is about making cheese, butter, and yogurt. I'm definitely excited. I have made my own yogurt in the past, but I haven't ever made cheese or butter. So that is something that I would love to tackle. I love doing projects like that. So I picked up that one, and then also basic bread baking, another skill that I would definitely love to get better at. I do know how to bake bread from scratch. The majority of the time my grandma baked her own bread, so I grew up watching that, and I always enjoyed smelling her freshly baked bread. Her house always smelled wonderful, and I just wanted to continue getting better at bread baking. So I thought that I would pick up this one as well, and hopefully it'll have some good advice. I have a few issues with baking yeast rising bread. My bread still definitely does not turn out as beautiful as my grandma's bread, and I definitely need to keep practicing on that. So I thought that this would be helpful. And then also for cooking, this is Dining on a Dime cookbook. This is a book from a YouTuber. I can't remember if it's a Living on a Dime. I think her channel is a Living on a Dime. Anyway, I've been watching a few of her videos. They're really interesting, and I just thought it would be nice to have this really good cookbook here. She references it quite a bit in some of her meal planning. So I thought that I would give this book a try. It is huge. You can see it has a lot of wonderful recipes. Eat better, spend less. I thought that this would be really interesting. She also said in one of her videos, or a couple of her videos, that a lot of missionaries use this cookbook. So I just thought that that was really interesting. And so I thought that I would give this a read and add this to my cookbook collection. So I'm really excited to have this and check this out more. And then next I have this book here. It looked really intriguing, Play the Forest School Way. And this has woodland games, crafts, and skills for adventurous kids. I thought that I might find some fun activities, especially for the summer, to kind of incorporate into my Sunday school class, just some outdoor crafty things, and just some fun things like that. I love outdoor activities and camping activities and crafts and things like that. I was actually, back in high school and college, I was an outdoor school counselor. So things like this have always been really close to my heart. And I thought this book looked really fascinating. I loved the design of it too. It just looked really like a fun book, and I'm hoping it has some fun ideas that I can adapt to use in my Sunday school class. So Play the Forest School Way, that's by Peter Houghton and Jane Worrell. And then speaking of outdoors and the garden, this is an Edward Gorey book. I have a pretty good collection of Edward Gorey books. He is such a funny writer and a really interesting artist. I just love his books. They always make me laugh. It's definitely dark humor. This one is called The Evil Garden, and it's one that's been on my list for quite some time. I'll go ahead and open this up so we can take a quick look on the inside. So here it is. The cover's beautiful. I love the green and black. And just to open it up and show you a few of the pictures here, let's see. So you can see just like a lot of line drawings. Edward Gorey draws the intro to Mystery on PBS, and so that's where you might recognize some of the similar type of drawing. You can see that. Usually the tales, again, they're dark humor, but they are really fun and entertaining. If you've never checked out Edward Gorey before and you enjoy dark humor, you might really enjoy that. I thought this would be a special treat to read. They're very short little books. I will definitely have to update you on what I thought of this latest Edward Gorey book in my next reading vlog update. Just a fun, pleasant read. They usually make me laugh, and the storylines are always very, fun and entertaining. Just a little book to read, and of course another book to add to my Edward Gorey book collection. I absolutely love the illustrations, and I love the stories. They're just very fun. And then another gardening book here. This is Beatrix Potter's Gardening Life, the plants and places that inspired the classic children's tales. I love Beatrix Potter books. I love Peter Rabbit. I have all of those books and have always enjoyed them. And this book looked really interesting. Lots of things about the garden. It's got both pictures and drawings and things like that. Lots of interesting information about the gardens that inspired Peter Rabbit there. And as a fan of gardening, I thought that this would be a very nice and inspiring book. It says here that this is the first book to explore the origins of her love of gardening, Beatrix Potter's love of gardening and plants, and show how this passion came to be reflected in her work. Richly illustrated and filled with quotations from her books, letters, and journals, it's essential reading for all who know and cherish Beatrix Potter's classic tales. So I'm really excited to delve into this and get some inspiration for my own garden, and perhaps even getting out some of my art supplies. I occasionally love to bring my art supplies out into the garden and see if I can practice some of my drawing and things like that. So another really fun and inspiring book, perfect for summer gardening season. And then the last book here is by Neil Gaiman. This is Odd and the Frost Giants. This is another children's book. This just sounded like a really interesting book. It also has really interesting illustrations. I love these pencil type black and white illustrations. They are just so neat to look at and very, very inspiring. So I'm really excited to check this book out and read the tale. It said, Odd meant the tip of a blade, and it was a lucky name. In the village of ancient Norway lives a boy named Odd, and he has some very bad luck. His father perished in a Viking expedition. A tree fell on and shattered his leg, and the endless freezing winter is making villagers dangerously grumpy. Now Odd is forced on a stranger journey than he had imagined, a journey to save Asgard, city of the gods, from the frost giants who have invaded it. So it just sounds like a fun story. Thought it was neat that it was Viking based and a Norwegian book. So just something really interesting like that. And again, the artwork just looked too good to pass up. I'm just excited to read this as well. As you know, I love children's literature. I think it's just as fun to read as adult literature. So that'll be another one for my children's literature collection. I'm really excited to read this as well. So those are the books. I got a few gardening themed ones, some outdoor activities, some cooking skills and gardening skills books, a couple more children's books here, sort of in the vein of Little House on the Prairie, and then another John Steinbeck. So quite a few fun books to add to my summer reading list. And again, I hope to have the time to get back into reading. I typically have a little bit more time to devote to reading once spring is over and we get into summer a little bit more. I love taking my books out into my garden and spending a day reading quietly in my garden. So I'm excited to get back to that and share with you some of the books that I've been reading and what I think of them. So look forward to a reading vlog later on in the month, as well as hopefully a bookshelf tour later on in the month as well. I hope you enjoyed checking out my spring book haul. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe for more videos from April's Home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.